This is He has a cat and he's annoying. That's just your type. By BuzzCat. Read by Satori Reads. Summary. Shouta. He swiped left on the next just out of principle. Shouta was a man who lived off jelly packets and slept in a fluffy yellow sleeping bag in the middle of his classroom, but he did have standards. Rejecting every profile you see does not count as getting out there, Shouta, Nemuri said as she draped herself over his back, watching his phone screen over his shoulder. I'm not rejecting all of them. Oh, who did you swipe right on? Shouta was tellingly silent as he swiped left again. Nemuri groaned. You have got to get over radio, boy. Shouta swiped left, and again, and again. Shouta. He paused, checked the next few pictures, then wrinkled his nose and swiped left. Shouta. He swiped left on the next just out of principle. Shouta was a man who lived off jelly packets and slept in a fluffy yellow sleeping bag in the middle of his classroom, but he did have standards. Rejecting every profile you see does not count as getting out there, Shouta, Nemuri said as she draped herself over his back, watching his phone screen over his shoulder. I'm not rejecting all of them. Oh, who'd you swipe right on? Shouta was tellingly silent as he swiped left again. Nemuri groaned. You have got to get over radio, boy. Shouta did not stop the repetitive motion of his thumb, swiping away the various photos without even looking. Who said I was hung up on him? Shouta, babe. I known you since you still thought a BuzzCat was a good idea. No one had to say anything. You haven't even been listening to the radio when you come home because you know he won't be on. The new host runs a cooking advice show. I'm not interested. Uh-huh. And the fact your search history is full of trying to find Mr. Loudmouth himself is entirely unrelated. Shota's mouth went flat. Quit going through my search history. Use your own phone. Want. On both accounts. Mine is still broken from that fight with Salaryman last week. Shouta made a of an acknowledgement as he continued swiping. He wasn't hung up on Loudmouth. There wasn't anything to be hung up on. They never dated. They barely even talked. Loudmouth had just run to Hear Interest radio show from the 1 to 2 a.m. time slot, which happened to coincide with when Shouta was just getting back from patrol and needed to wind down. Loudmouth, at the last part of the show, ran a call-in segment. On slow night, when Shouta could tell no one had called in, because the commercials were starting to run a little long, when he himself had gone almost 3 days not talking to anyone other than the students, however many remained for that semester, he'd call in, and they'd talk. Shouta never revealed his hero identity, of course. Underground heroes couldn't be underground if they were announcing their names and voices on a radio show 3 times a week. But he and Loudmouth had talked about hero society, trends and what was going on. Sometimes they'd get off topic and talk about music, food, anything that came to mind. But Loudmouth had announced 2 weeks back that he was getting a new job, and as such, he wouldn't be on for the show anymore, and he disappeared. It wasn't anything Shouta could be hung up on, as Nemuri called it, but he still missed the atrocious slang Loudmouth desecrated the airwaves with. Shouta wasn't someone to make friends easily, but when he made friends, he did his best to keep them. Ooh, what about that guy? Nemuri said, leaning forward and tapping on the photo before Shouta could swipe. Shouta paused, mostly to stop Nemuri from saying he was rejecting all profiles just out of hand. The photo was of a skinny man with long blonde hair, sitting in front of the ocean. He was wearing a tight hot pink tank top with a stylized sunset and the words "Sun's out, guns out" typed across the bottom and cut-off jean shorts. To complete the image were yellow triangular glasses, half pulled down over green eyes, and a bright orange drink in his hand. He looks annoying. Nemuri hummed in agreement. Exactly, he's just your type, and his name is Hisashi. That's a cute name. Shouta scowled, but did not correct her, scrolling down to look at the profile. It says he's musical and creative, which is code for loud and scatterbrained. Nemuri rolled her eyes. Yes, because that would be a real problem. Come on, Shouta. He's cute, and he seems nice. She swiped to the next photo. And he has a cat! See? He has a cat, and he's annoying. He's perfect for you. Shouta sighed. If I swipe right, Will you let me delete the app? Nemuri's face twisted up before she compromised. Swipe right, and you can close the app. We should go grab dinner anyway, before your shift starts. Shouta held the phone up so Nemuri could see him swiping right, then quickly closed the app and tucked the phone back in his pocket. Let's go. It wasn't until he was on patrol and waiting for a response from the agency that Shouta checked his phone again. There was a waiting notification from Tinder, and with no hesitation, Shouta opened it just to clear the notification. No doubt another ad to buy their premium subscription. Except it wasn't an ad. It was a match. He'd matched up with Hisashi, who had sent him a message. You up? A booty call. The man was trying to booty call him. That was it. He was never letting Nemuri talk him into anything again. Honestly, match on a stupid dating app with a stranger once. And suddenly it's you up? Really? Shouta has standards. But the agency was being slow about getting back to him, and it had been a quiet night, and maybe sometimes Shouta liked to poke a bear just to see what would happen. He messaged back, no. The response was fast. Too bad, I was thinking of getting coffee from this place that does a good latte. Now I'll have to go all by myself. Shouta snorted to himself and sent back. Sounds rough. 3 typing dots flashed briefly before the man's message came through. Unless a cute boy wanted to join me for a little coffee drink. A pause, and then, my treat? Shit. The agency still hadn't gotten back to him, and given how late it was, they likely wouldn't respond until the morning. And it was a Tuesday night, where the shift always seemed especially slow. And coffee was coffee, especially if someone else was buying it. Shouta sent back. What's the address? Hisashi sent him a kiss emoji and the address, and it wasn't too far away. Shouta had been there before. They did make a good latte. See you in an hour? Shouta sent back a thumbs up and headed over. He'd still patrol for the hour. He'd just patrol from the roof of the building. No point being late. And if it gave him a glance at this Hisashi, who asked him out for coffee at 7 at night, even better. 1 hour later, the bell chimed as Shouta walked through the door. Watching the people entering hadn't given any probable suspects for Hisashi, and that long blonde hair was distinctive, but a lot of people had been wearing hoods, so that didn't mean anything at all. With his goggles tucked into his pocket, Shouta started to scan the room. It didn't take more than a moment to spot Hisashi in the back corner, hair up in a half bun and green eyes sparkling in the cafe light. Shouta made his way to the back, waiting until Hisashi looked up to introduce himself. Aizawa Shouta. Hisashi's eyes went wide. No way! Shouta jumped. That voice. He knew that voice. He thought about that voice a frankly embarrassing amount. Loudmouth? Hisashi's face split into a wide grin, and he jumped up from the chair. Shouta! It's so good to meet you. Let's get that coffee, my treat, and we can talk about what you were saying the other day of the recent update in standardization for hero license quirk capabilities. Hisashi grabbed Shota's arm and started dragging him to the front of the store to order. Shouta could only follow behind, bewildered. Loudmouth was, apparently, very attractive. A very attractive man who knew how to talk to Shouta was most definitely annoying, but in a way, Shouta started to miss, and he had a cat. Nemuri had been right. This was exactly his type. So that was, he has a cat and he's annoying. That's just your type. Bye, BuzzCat. Thank you for listening and bye-bye.